Hello and welcome to this edition of Money in Motion video blog. Today I want to talk about the jobs numbers from last Friday's report. I thought about this over the weekend. Did I really want to do a blog on employment numbers or not? And as I listened to the pundits on Friday after the numbers came out, and I studied the numbers over the weekend, I decided it was important to help you understand the fuzzy numbers that the government is using in reporting employment. So let's deal with the numbers as reported. First of all, the non-farm payroll was 120,000 people got jobs. And separate from that, the private sector employment was up 140,000. Now, what's important to note, in the 140,000, 49,000 people got jobs in retail. That could be seasonal hiring for the Christmas holidays. We won't know for sure whether that's a real good number until January, February to see what happened to the layoffs. So watch the retail sector report in January and February to see what happened to those 49,000 people. It's also important to understand that the government, state, city, county, and federal, also laid off 20,000 more workers. And at the federal level, out of that 20,000 were 5,000 postal workers. I find it interesting that 5,000 union postal workers who make a very good living were laid off, while the retail sector added 49,000 new employees at considerably less compensation than the postal workers that got laid off. How about real wages? They were down 0.1%. In fact, from the beginning of 2010 to the end period, October 2011, we find that real wages are basically flat. So that wages in a service economy, which makes up 75% of the total operating expenses of a company, have gone nowhere. We can't have serious inflation concerns until and if wages start to accelerate. Commodities are important, but in a service-based economy, 75% of the operating budgets of a corporation are salary and benefits. So let's move on to the big number, and that is the unemployment rate, for some reason, dropped from 9% to 8.6%. One might ask, how is that possible if we only added 120,000 jobs? It's the game they play in reporting the number. They keep track of all the people that are looking for work, people who are on unemployment, and they take that number and they divide it into the available workforce to come up with a percentage, in this case 8.6. If you look a little closer in the report, what you will find is that 487,000 people for that reporting period went off of unemployment benefits, stopped looking for work, and functionally, for the government standpoint, disappeared. That means that 487,000 people who were receiving benefits have run out, and they're no longer counted. So if you reduce the number of unemployed by those people who are no longer counted and divide it into the number of potential employees, you find that the number gets smaller. Excuse me. The government each month will report the number of jobs created, non-farm payroll, private sector, and you really have to dig down to find the number of people who have disappeared, who vanished from the number complex. So if you put back the 487,000, then the unemployment rate would probably be much higher than 9%. As we go forward, it's important to get a read on the economy because jobs are so important. They're important to tax revenue, they're important to housing, they're important to the overall economy. So each month as the unemployment data comes out, you have to do a little digging, but find the number of people who have disappeared, who no longer have benefits, who've given up working, looking for work, and now have disappeared. If that number continues to exceed the number of new jobs created, unemployment is not coming down. Unemployment is continuing to rise. Well, that's it for now. I hope you found this blog helpful. If you have questions, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. This is Dan Perkins.